Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Blue Collar Builders YouTube channel. I've got another really cool idea for you. I say really cool, but it's actually something that's fairly common. It's probably not going to be something you've never heard of. You just maybe have never thought of how to execute it. And today's business is a window cleaning business. Yes, there are windows all over the place, businesses, residences that need to be cleaned. And the reality is that people don't want to get their hands dirty and do the work. And so this provides an opportunity for you. So I put together a full business plan. If you're interested in having it, just shoot me an email, andy@garrettex.com. The link or the email address will be in the bio, so you can copy and paste. Shoot me an email and I will send it over to you. But I'll just kind of give you a quick overview. One of the things in this that I'm not going to tell you, you'll have to shoot me an email to get the business plan, is kind of my first year projections on what I think you might be able to do sales-wise. So shoot me an email if you want that, andy@garrettex.com. But let's just kind of walk through this business a little bit. So the first thing I think is... obviously with every good business, there's a problem that you're solving. And so I think the problem here is that businesses and residences need their windows clean, and to do so and to manage their homes and their businesses, oftentimes they can't do that themselves. So they need to outsource it to someone, which could potentially be you. Here are a couple things that I think are important in any business, just getting things set up legally. Typically, you'll do that through the state treasury. You'll get a certificate, and then you'll need to get some type of EIN or tax number from the IRS. It's a pretty simple. It's a pretty simple process. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to walk you through it. I've done it 30 or 40 different times as a corporate employee and opening businesses for myself as well. So familiar with the process and would be happy to help you. The next thing is choose a name. Now, one of the things with this is not, a lot of people get hung up on a business name. It is not the most important thing. Obviously, the most important thing is that you know how to perform the service and you can exceed your customers' expectations. So the business name is not the most important thing, and oftentimes people get stuck on it. So what I would say is come up with a name, something that's doable, explains what you do, and just run with it. You can always change it down the road if you decide you don't like it, but just pick a name and move forward. The next one, and the most important legal thing here, is you just probably want to get liability insurance. This is very standard across any business you have. You're going to need some level of liability insurance. If you end up hiring employees, you're probably going to need workers' compensation too. That can be done at the state level, workers' compensation, and then liability insurance. You can literally type in liability insurance Toronto, liability insurance Cincinnati on Google, and I'm sure you'll get a list of folks who can get that set up with you. So there'll be vendors or just local companies who can provide that insurance. And then get a handful of quotes and then pick the one that makes the most sense for you. The next thing is the equipment that you're going to need to perform this service. So I think the first thing is a transport vehicle. Now, if you don't have a car, do not stop this video, because there are so many ways to get around town. I have seen people, you could call an Uber, you could ride the bus. Now, will you look a little silly carrying your equipment on a bus? Yes, but who cares? We are trying to take a step forward, and at this point in the process, we're willing to do whatever it takes to do that. And so I think it's a really good point to stop right there, actually, because I didn't really emphasize why, blue collar businesses, having your own business, being your own manager, giving yourself flexibility, scheduling your own, or, managing your own time. These things are really important. And, I don't think we really hit on this like I wanted to. But one of the things that's really important is with your own business, you can manage your own time, and you might look silly at times, but the reality is that you have control. Your boss isn't going to walk in one day and say, hey, I'm letting you go. I'm sorry, we're not paying you anymore, and you need to go find something else. Your boss isn't going to walk in and say, hey, we actually we need to relocate you to a new city, and you're gonna have to relocate your family and everything too. So you have full control. Your company, your boss does not have control over your life, and that's one of the reasons that the blue collar builders team likes to provide these types of opportunities, because they're, if this isn't the right one for you, hopefully we can provide one that does make sense for you. But ultimately, our goal is to get you in a place where you have full management over your work life. All right, now that I can step off my soapbox, the next thing is marketing, or actually the next thing is we're back to equipment. So we talked about transport vehicle. The next thing on this list is you're going to need a ladder. So the reality is, if you're cleaning a business or if you're cleaning a residence, there's probably at least a level or two, and nobody wants you cleaning half of their windows. So you'll need a ladder just so you can get to some of those upper windows. The next one is a bucket, a squeegee, and a scrubber, and then cleaning supplies. There's a lot of different window cleaners. I've heard people mixing Dawn dish soap and vinegar. There's a lot of different things. You can do a little bit of research and find the cleaning solution that makes the most sense for you. But literally, if you have those things, you are ready to go around and start cleaning people's windows. The next part, this is my personal favorite part of the business, of any business, is just the marketing. So how do customers find you? How do you get in front of people? So one of the things I always like to do, and I think that it's super helpful and will give you a lot of answers to the things that you may not know, is simply Google window cleaner in your city and start calling those companies and just ask them questions like you're a customer. Say, hey, I have a 1,200 foot house, or I have a 1,200 square foot house with 20 windows. What would that cost me? And get an idea of what their pricing is, because your pricing is going to be fairly similar. Call another one and say, hey, I'm a business owner. I have a business, and yes, you're lying a little bit, but you're also trying to get this information that is really important. And so I think that when you're doing research and you're trying to get exact answers, I think that's okay. So just present a few different situations and gather that information, because the pricing is really important to you. Also ask them, what time do they service year round? Do they only service during the summertime? Get that information, because it's really important and could be an opportunity for you. If they don't service in the wintertime, ask them why. And if it's something that you might be able to do during the wintertime, then there might be an opportunity for you to take some of their business, which is cool. All right, the next one, another idea, a way to get customers, is to simply go to retail centers or into neighborhoods and start knocking on people's doors. And one of the things that I want to encourage you with is, you are not trying to sell people. I think that this is a common misconception with sales representatives across the world. You are not trying to sell people. You are trying to serve them. And I think that if you maintain that mindset, that I am here to serve, then I believe that people will see that, will feel that, and they will choose you. And so what does that look like? Well, you go to someone's house, you knock on the door, and you say, hey, I clean windows. I saw that your windows are looking a little dirty, or maybe they're not even looking dirty. I wanted to see if I could earn your business. I'm more than happy to give you guys a free window washing. I'll wash the entire house. I'll wash the entire business for free. And then the only thing that I ask is that when I'm done, you'll spend 5-10 minutes just talking to me about this process, and let me at least give you a quote for an ongoing service. And if you do that, I believe that you will get plenty of business. And like I said, serve people, do not sell them. All right, the next thing is, let's see. The next thing, I actually kind of played this scenario out. If you go to a business or you go to a residence and they say, we already have somebody who cleans our windows. What I would say in that situation is, totally cool. We get it. We understand that there are other window washing companies around town. Do you mind me asking what they charge you? And I think that if you're bold enough to ask that question, they will tell you. And at that point, it gives you the opportunity to do two things. So you can undercut their price if you want. You don't have to. You can do that, or you can say that you can see their price and you can offer an additional service. So you could say, I will be more than happy to wash your windows and clean your front porch area. You know, it could be anything. It could be a front porch area. It could be a seating area. It could be sweeping their parking lot. I don't know what that is, but if you tack on an additional service to the window cleaning, I believe that business will say, yes, this is someone who wants to serve us. They see an opportunity around our space. And in addition to the windows being cleaned, our front porch could use a sweeping, or our parking lot could use a sweeping. And at that point, then you say, okay, I would love to earn your business by doing that. Do it for free, and then have that conversation with them. And I'm not a big proponent of giving things away for free, but in this business, you have to earn people's trust, and I think that it's really important to do that, especially in a business where you're walking up and making people make a decision on the spot. That's not always easy. So, yep, serve them. Let's see. The other thing that, as I've been thinking about this, there's going to be a lot of driving up to businesses, driving up to homes, and knocking on doors. It's just the reality of this business. And one of the things that I want you to consider is that you're probably going to get a lot more no's than yeses. And what I want you to also know is that is okay. That's okay. It's okay if people do not want your service. That's totally their decision, and they're entitled to that. But what I will also tell you is that if you provide a good service, you communicate clearly to them, and you have a heart that is willing to serve them, you will get yeses, and those yeses will choose you month after month, and you, at some point, will turn this customer development into a snowball of sales, and they just keep growing and growing and growing. And that leads me to one of the other reasons I really like this business is because it's an ongoing service. Once you lock somebody in for a cleaning, then I'll be back in 2 weeks or I'll be back in a month, and it is an ongoing revenue. And for the most part, those people don't even think about it. Once they give their credit card information, you send them invoices. You can automate that through various different platforms. I have that all listed in this business plan. You can automate that, or you can send them manually, however you want to do it. But once you get them once, it then is a recurring charge, which is a really awesome business here. The last thing here is just some of the software that you might need. So I'm a big fan of QuickBooks in my business. I use it for accounting, invoicing, insurance, and hiring and firing if you end up hiring employees. And then the other thing is just a simple way to manage customers. I'm a big fan of Trello and or Google Calendars. You can schedule everything out on a Google Calendar. You can manage your customers through Trello. You can manage all your different tasks through Trello. If you need, if you need to manage your supplies, if you need to manage your routes, you can do all of that through Google and Trello in a really simple way. So, once again, if you are interested in the Window Cleaners business plan, shoot me an email, andy@garrettex.com. More than happy to send it to you, and also more than happy to answer any questions you might have. One thing I will say is with the virus, I'm sure you either have been affected or you know someone who has been affected. One of the things that has just been so eye-opening to me is that across the country, really across the world, but specifically across the country, people are getting laid off at significantly high rates. And these are folks who were dependent on a paycheck. They were dependent on, being able to go into work their job, and then pay their bills and put food on their table. And for a lot of people, this is a really challenging season. And one of the ways that I think that as a country we can protect ourselves from something like this moving forward is by having our own businesses and continually developing our skills. Now, it is not a good thing if we have a bunch of businesses and people do not do the work properly. So I want to make that very clear. There are some people who should not own businesses because they can't perform the service. But I would say that most people can own a business, can perform a service at a really high level, and ultimately do not have to be bound by whatever their boss decides or whatever their business decides and therefore gives you more stability across your entire life. So I want to encourage you with that. We are going to continue to provide you with, blue collar business ideas. We really like business ideas where you have to use your hands, you have to sweat a little bit. We really think that culturally the world is pushing us away from that type of work, and so we believe that there's tremendous opportunity for folks who aren't afraid to get dirty. So once again, thank you all for watching. Shoot me an email, Andy at garrettex.com. I'll send you the business plan, and like I said, if you have any questions or you need anything, feel free to comment below. I'm more than happy to help. Thanks so much. Peace.